Welcome everybody to the Rotary Club of Livermore. So, well, they're standing now. They're standing now. Thank you everybody for standing. First, before we do the pledge, for those of you that have something, why don't we just start with a toast? Let's toast all of us. Thanks for being here. Salute.
Salute.
All right, now I'm going to pick someone very special to lead the pledge. And Linda, where are you? Yes. So Linda, what's going on Saturday that I know Kim is going, I'm going. No, Kim's not going. Wait. We're not doing the pledge yet. Hold on. What's going on? Here, his son is getting married. All right, Linda, please lead us in the pledge. All right, so I do apologize. It was my job to bring a screen from my office. So I put in a wall. This wasn't here last week. Yeah, just built the entire new wall. It's good to go. No, just kidding. I screwed up. So I bought 2 bottles of wine. Hopefully it's adequate penance. My fine? I bought 2 bottles of wine. All right, so let's see. We got Stu and Tim. Please, what do we got for a song?
Okay, welcome everyone. We're going to be talking about, Paul's going to talk to us about farming. And this is a great John Denver song called Thank God I'm a Country Boy. On the farm, it's kind of laid back, ain't much a little country boy like me can hack. It's early to rise, early in the side. Thank God I'm a country boy. Well, a simple kind of life never did me no harm. Raising me a family and working on a farm. The days are all filled with an easy country charm. Thank God I'm a country boy. Well, they got me a fine wife, they got me old Bill. When the sun's coming up, I got cakes on the griddle. Life ain't nothing. Riddle. Thank God I'm a country boy. When the work's all done and sun's sinking low, I pull out the fiddle and fasten up the bow. The kids are asleep, so I keep it kind of low. Thank God I'm a country boy. I'd play Sally Gooden all day if I could, but the Lord and my wife wouldn't think it very good. Work when I can and I work when I should. Thank God I'm a country boy. Well, I got me a fine wife, I got me old fiddle. When the sun's coming up, I got cakes on the griddle. Life ain't nothing but a funny, funny riddle. Thank God I'm a country boy.
Outstanding. Thanks, fella. Thanks, guys. That was really great. Paul, does that resonate with you? Where are you? Where did Paul sit down? Can't see back there.
Paul's right up.
Oh,
You, Paul.
all right. Let's go to Will. Where are you? Thanks.
Hi, Rotarians. So my thought for the day is actually about thought for the day. When I joined Rotary about 8 years ago, it was very difficult to get to have the honor and the privilege of giving the thought for the day. In fact, you'd have to wait 4 or 5 months. The backlog was so great. It was truly an honor and a privilege. I love hearing thought for the day. Sometimes it's my favorite part of the meeting. Not when I give it though. Last week, Dennis gave the thought for the day. I didn't hear it. I'm going to hear it on YouTube, but I've heard it was incredible and it's really neat. It can be a great part of the meeting. Unfortunately, lately, we've had several weeks where we haven't even had anybody step up to give the thought for the day. And I still think it's an honor and a privilege. So here's my thought. I believe all of us have something to share. And I'd really like a lot more people to step up and have a backlog for thought for the day. Here's something interesting. They did a poll years ago of what people fear the most. Dying came in second. You know what was first? Public speaking. Which means more people are scared of speaking in public than of dying, which is absolutely crazy to me. Anyway, I love giving thought for the day from time to time, but I suspect you guys are all tired of hearing my voice. So I'm putting this out there. I'd really like everybody who hasn't done thought for the day, at least recently, and especially any of the new members, to sign up for the thought for the day. It can be as simple as a story or a quote, something personal. If something's personal touches you, chances are it'll touch a great many of us. And that way, when I go to sign up in a month or so, I won't be able to sign up till the end of the year, which is kind of what should happen. So anyway, let's step up. Let's make thought for the day an integral part of the meeting again. Thanks, Rotarians.
Hey, Will, that was very thoughtful. Thank you so much. All right, the most important people that we have that make this whole operation run, a meeting one, even when we move locations like we did today. So, Will, thank you for reporting today. Kathy is going to publish the Spur meeting photographer. Dawn, thank you so much, Dawn. AV, Dennis O'Brien, who thank you so much for moving us here and making it work, even though my fault. I'm sorry, I forgot the screen. Carolyn, we haven't seen in a while. Thank you for being the Zoom host and monitor. And Don, where are you? Great job as a greeter. Okay, it looks like we do have a lot of guests today. So let's start off. I'm going to ask on Zoom. Let's see, Carolyn, do we have any visiting Rotarians?
We do not, just all club members.
Okay. Well, you know, you guys can't see this on the screen, but Ferrucci, it looks like a Greek god with a Chinese god. You guys are really missing out on this. You really are. All right. Okay. How about visiting Rotarians? What do we got in the room here?
President Splend, fellow Rotarians, it's my pleasure to introduce longtime Rotarian from Pleasanton, Bob Silva.
Hey, Bob. All right. Any other visiting Rotarians? Nobody? Okay. How about Carolyn, any visiting Rotarians? I mean, any visitors that you might have on Zoom?
No visitors on Zoom, but can I give a shout out and say, hi, Dad?
Yes. So there's a connection there. Bob Silva's daughter is Carolyn.
Hi, Carolyn. Good to see you on the screen.
Hey, Carolyn, for the privilege of saying hello to your dad, is there anything you'd like to do for the club?
Oh, I don't know. I think maybe that seems like some type of $50 fine that I'm going to have to think about where it will go to.
That's exactly what it'll be, is a $50 fine. You can take it out of your inheritance from your dad.
All right, I will do that.
Okay. All right. All right. Norm, you got that? Or you want me to? You got it. All right. Thanks, buddy. All right. Let's have some visitors in the room. We have a bunch of them. So let's make some introductions. Let's go.
I know.
There we go. All right. Splendid members of the club. I'd like to introduce our police chief here, Jeremy Young.
Hey, Jeremy.
Thank you for joining us.
Anybody else visiting us today? Oh, yeah, Loretta, please.
I would get higher, but you know, I'm not going to do it. Okay, so it is my pleasure to introduce Christy Lusty of Monarch Design, whom will be inducted today. This will be the last time anybody has to introduce her. And more importantly, I have her mother here, and her name is Nancy Noel. Nancy Noel. And Nancy is a published author. And it looks like this is the kind of book that would go into a middle school reading program. All right. Thank you so much.
Joel?
Well, President Splend, fellow Rotarians, for the last time, I'm introducing as a guest, Katharina Ritz, who is a Realtor and will be inducted as a member today. Welcome.
All right, anybody else? Anybody else got any? Alan, just wait here. Oh, no, TJ first.
Two friends of Ronnie Forbes from the grocery outlet. Raji and Kajan.
Hey, nice seeing you guys again. Nice seeing you again. Over here. Yeah, two more over here. Alan?
Hi, I have the other two people who are going to be inducted today. We have Rania Zabo and Haley Bennett here.
Welcome, guys. And do we have a very mature guest also that needs introduction?
Yes, hi, everybody. My name is Rania, and this is my son Brighton, who will be in school only next year. So now he's tagging along. I'm very
Hi,
happy.
Bryson.
Brighton. Oh, he's only 4.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Mary Alice.
Hi. Yes, I have a guest here today. She came along to help me and I appreciate it very much. Barbara Craybill, formerly of Barbara's Hallmark.
Hi, Barbara. Welcome back. Barbara used to be a member of our club,
Oh, she was also a former Rotarian.
and I just said that.
Oh, you did? Oh, sorry.
And a teacher. Okay, is that it? Is that everybody? Once, twice, done. All right, announcements. Okay, I'm gonna stop the show for a second. We need to recognize some people, I think. Let's start with Stu Gary. Stu? Long time no see, Stu. What have you been up to?
First meeting in 3 years. Great family, great business. I finally found time to reconnect and start making meetings again, hopefully. So I deserve to be recognized in the last 3 years, never caught the you know what, but have 2 grandchildren that didn't happen 3 years ago. Have a 25-month-old and a 4-month-old, and we and the other in-town grandparents split daycare duties. So that plus consulting on Zoom and flying. So life is good. Grandkids, business, and I owe the Rotary International Foundation, how about 500? The local foundation, 500 and something to the club.
All right, well, how about, that's great, Stu. So you said 25 months, 4 months, that's 29. You do the math. Tell me how much you want to give to the club. Something.
President's Club.
All right, cool. That's great. Thanks, Stu.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Stu.
Great. Okay, let's do the next one. Paul. Hold on, Paul.
I'm coming up. Okay. All righty, everyone. Hope I woke you up. Well, the rodeo parade, the Livermore Rodeo is in 2 weeks. It is an exciting weekend for the town of Livermore. For us, I want to remind everyone, we will be having lunch at the rodeo grounds on Wednesday, June 7th. So don't go to LARPD, but go to the rodeo grounds on the 7th. And then on Saturday morning from around 7:10 to 8 o'clock, we have to be out by 8, where every member, whether you're going to help with the parade or not, is invited to breakfast at the Riata. Now, I again want to thank all the people who have donated to the parade. I really appreciate that, and the club appreciates it. And I want to thank the people who so far have signed up to help with the parade. But but I still need about a dozen more people to sign up and help with the parade. The parade takes a lot of people on Saturday to run it. And I still need about 12 more people. So as I said last week, the people in Zoom land, come down to Livermore. It's an outdoor event and help with the parade. There's a sign up sheet online on our website. And again, I'm going to start over here with Joel, and he's going to pass, and it's going to zigzag down to the end where you can sign up. One more thing. What? Oh, do we actually have numbers? We have table numbers. Where's table number 1? Oh, I see. Okay, so we'll start where I am, where I'm sitting, and we'll follow the table numbers. I want to, Joel and Don are going to help me on Friday morning to pass out no parking signs, assuming that they get here tomorrow, and letters to the businesses and homeowners. And if someone, I would love to get one more person to help us. What we do is we go down down 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and we check on 4th Street, and we pass out posters. And then in the parade route, which is actually in between 1st Street and 4th Street, we pass out little signs. No, this is for this Friday. This is something new. So, can you do that? Okay, it's just, are you going to get that's fine. So it's just, they're just gonna make sure I have your phone number. If you could write it down on this sheet. Oh, that's right. So just in case I don't get the posters, they're supposed to come tomorrow, but we're still going to pass out the letters to businesses and homes. But we're going to meet, do you know where the Riata is? So we're going to meet at 9:45 in front of the Riata. So sign up for the parade.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. So remember last week, I made a couple of announcements about our Grand Marshal, the fusion team at the lab. Problem has been solved. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Steve Powell, and anybody that helped. We have one of the Livermore wine country trolleys donated the entire trolley. So we're covered. We're covered. Doesn't mean if you want to drive your classic car, Paul still wants you, but we still want you. All right. And then Mark.
Beloved brothers and sisters here, I am here to again remind and ask you to give me a hand with the team that's going to work on our presentations for this coming year. So you'll remember these things don't happen by magic. They happen because we ask somebody says yes, we do a little bit of follow-up with them, and they actually give a presentation. Our presentation today is going to be amazing. Come July 1, all of those amazing presentations are going to end. Okay? Because the person who's been doing it, their job's done. Okay? So I need just a couple people to give me a hand. Lots of people make light work here. Now, some of you have said, I'm too boring to help on this task. I don't know anything or anyone. And it's like, well, that was a nice try, but that doesn't disqualify you. Another of you have said, I'm too lazy. I don't wish to help in any way. And it's, but we're a service club. So if you could do a little on the service front there. So I know we have a very creative club and you've already thought up your excuse. But if you could set that aside and we could get just a small handful, come by. When we do meet, we're going to meet the very first week of June to try and get at least July knocked to the ground, and then we can panic about August later. There'll be wine involved, if that helps with any of you. And a little cheese thrown in when we have the meeting. And I know not everybody works, but it'll sort of be in a late afternoon, kind of after work kind of a thing. So give me a hand. You will all benefit from it. And if you don't, you'll know come July. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark. All right. Let me add a little side note. To about 20 years ago, I was a program chair. And if you're inclined to be creative, or you're inclined to have fun, it's actually one of the best jobs to have, because some of you may not lot of you probably don't remember, but I would meet people in the community. And I met once, there was a motorcycle gang in town. I'm not kidding. And I thought that would be fun to hear from a motorcycle gang, right? And they were at some parade, like maybe it was the holiday parade, or maybe it was the Rotary parade. I don't remember which one it was. And they were having kids go on their bikes, right? Take pictures. I don't know if some of you guys remember that. So I said, oh, who's your, I don't know, who's the leader, right? Who's the guy out of jail that can talk to you for you? So I invited him to come and speak, and they had no idea what to talk about, right? They were like, well, we're a motorcycle gang. Well, why don't you talk about your crimes against humanity or something like that? That'd be fun to hear. So anyway, they parked their motorcycle. This is back when we were at the DoubleTree. If you remember that portico that was in front, I said, let's park right in front there. I'm trying to remember who was the police chief. Was it Steve? I'm trying to remember who it was. Yeah. Oh, it was Ron. It was Ron. Ron was the police chief. And so anyway, they parked. I said, no, this will be great. Park right in front. And so they all went in to the banquet room. And then I told Ron, go out there. And I said, hey guys, who's the dumbasses that park their motorcycles right in front in a fire zone? Well, the police chief is ticketing all you guys. Well, they all ran out. Anyway, it's a big joke. They laughed. So anyway, you can be that creative. Gout is up.
All right. All right, thank you. Well, by now you must be all tired of every week me talking about this. And there's a way you can stop that. We got 5 more weeks in this Rotary year, and we make all those deficiencies go away. I promise I won't say a word until July 1. Okay, so we have done a great job. And annual fund, we are 6,500 short, actually 6,000 short as of this morning. Polio, we are 950 short as of this morning. And I really like to get, even if it is a $25, all Rotarians contribute so we can get 100% EREY. And I sent out yesterday 32 emails reminding, requesting them to do something. I already got 6 checks. So, and that is really, really a friendly reminder. If you can do 100, I love it. If you can do 1,000, I love even more. But if you give me a 25, I'll be happy. Thank you very much.
Okay, this is the best part of the day. Well, except for Paul's presentation. Okay. All right. Alan, where are you? Come on up.
So this is truly a great day. I became membership chair almost a year ago, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I did know that the club had some challenges coming through the COVID issues, and our membership dropped, and I'll get back to that. But today we're going to induct 4 new members, which is certainly the best that I have seen. So I'm hoping that we can continue this great uptick in our membership. So I would now like the 4 new inductees to come up, and I actually need to get the bag there. Okay. You're gonna, yeah. And Katarina's is at the bottom because you want to. So. Yeah, this is a new location, so we're all struggling a little bit with figuring out exactly where to be when. Okay, so you are all about to become the newest members of the Rotary Club of Livermore. And oh, Rania, there you are. The Rotarian who proposed you for membership paid you a great compliment. They saw in you those characteristics which would make a fine Rotarian. You have been chosen for membership because we are confident that the image and ideals of Rotary are safe in your keeping. It is with great pleasure that we welcome you as fellow members of the Rotary Club of Livermore. So first, may I present Rania Zabo? And Rania is now the newest member of our Rotary Club for a few seconds. And here's your hat and your pin and your vest. Okay, and now may I present Christine Lusty, who is the owner of Monarch Designs, and she is now the newest member of Rotary. Well, yeah, she wanted to be a newest member for more than 3 seconds. Yes. Okay. So, and now, now may I present Kaylee Bennett, who's the newest member of our Rotary family. And so, yeah, Kaylee is a labbie like many of us were, or maybe still are. And finally, may I present Katarina Ritz, who is now the newest member of the Rotary family. So. Yeah. Anyway, so again, this is a great joy to be able to induct 4 new members. And we'll get maybe a picture of all 4 of you here before people escape. Next slide, please. A slide over there. Ah. Oh, I see. Let me see. Okay. So this is the bar graph showing our membership as a function of year for the past few years. And you can see that we in fact, we used to be 120 in the 120s and dropped down. Last year was kind of the low at 96 members in 2022. And we've jumped back up to 104, which is really great news. And not only that, I think you could probably tell that the 4 we inducted are below average in age compared to our membership. Next slide, please. So one of the things that we would like to do is reconstitute a membership committee. When I took this job, I had no idea what I was doing, and I was able to demonstrate that for about 3/4 of the year. And so what we're looking for is a member of 6 to 8 members. We want a mix of new and old, because new and old members have different perspectives on what works in terms of membership. And so one of the goals is to improve the integration of new members. We want to make sure that potential new members understand what membership entails. And we want to reactivate a strong mentorship program to accelerate Blue Badge achievement and engagement of new Rotarians into the various service activities we have. As you recall, we are in fact a service organization, so that's an important thing. And so we want to expand fun recruiting activities, and more ideas are good to think about how to do that. And finally, one of the things that has been suggested by Rotary International is starting a satellite club. People's job responsibilities don't necessarily lend themselves to be coming to a noon meeting very often. And a satellite club, it provides a different kinds of experience. They're still members of our club, but and can participate in service activities and things like that. But it's a little bit different of an organization. We want to explore what that would look like, what that would mean, and how that would help grow our members. Anyway, so that's anyone who is interested in participating in that membership committee, let me know. And my email address will be in the monthly newsletter that's going to come out here in about a week. So anyway, that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much, Alan, for all your good work. Okay, I'm going to make just an observation. Kim, you want to come up? Did you notice something in common? This year is the year of women in Rotary, right? First time a woman president of Rotary International. So thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. You're going to make the club much better because of who you are. And that's very much appreciated by the rest of us in the room. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Today I'm representing Fremont Bank, and we have set a lofty goal to raise money for the Alzheimer's Association. 50,000 is our fundraising goal. My uncle suffers from Alzheimer's disease, as well as I'm sure many of your lives have been touched by this horrible disease. Fremont Bank is sponsoring a movie night at the Bankhead Theater next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Would love for you all to come, spread the word. $25 ticket includes to see The Notebook, a small popcorn and drink, and all proceeds will benefit, after costs will benefit the Alzheimer's Association. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kim. All right, so next week, this is a project that I was dear to me and was mostly promoted by Savita, our district governor, but it was, and we contributed, Pat, right? We contributed quite a bit of money to this project, and the Empowering Girls Project. I know you've seen over the last couple of months. I know Pat gave a little presentation, or I remember about 3 or 4 months ago, I think, something like that. Yeah, we had a slide or two on its impact upon young women in the Bay Area. So Geeta will be here to give us more on that. Okay, I've got 1 minute. Paul, you want to make your way up here, and Valerie, you want to make your way up here? Anybody else want to do anything good for the club? But I'm going to recognize Sonia. Stand up and take a bow. She organized this. Thank you, Sonia. Good job. Awesome.
Get our picture taken. All right. President Splanton, fellow Rotarians, it's my pleasure to introduce to you today Valerie Shirk, who's the Executive Director of the Alameda County Fair Foundation. Valerie joined the foundation in August of 2021, almost 2 years. Valerie grew up in Pleasanton, holds a bachelor's degree in computer science from Stanford University. In her early career, Valerie built consumer and community experiences as a project manager for AOL and eBay. For the last 10 years, she's been serving as a community volunteer and parent in the Pleasanton School District. It's my pleasure to give you Valerie Shirk.
Thank you so much, Paul. Thanks for having me here today. I'm excited to be here and meet all of you. So can I? Okay. So I am Valerie Shirk. I'm the Executive Director of the Alameda County Fair Foundation. I'm really excited to be here and tell you about an upcoming project that we're working on that in fact you could be a part of potentially. So first, without further ado, let me introduce the Alameda County Fair Foundation. Paul Banke, who introduced me, is the president of our board. We also, Bob Silva, who you met earlier, is on our board. Our mission is basically to fund projects and programs related to agriculture education. We are a separate 501c3 from the Alameda County Fair Association, although we do support the Fair Association. So that is what we're all about. We were formed about 6 years ago, really with the mission of this project I'm about to tell you about. You probably are familiar with many of our board members. Some of them also sit on the Fair Board. Many of them are Fair Board Emeritus directors, including Paul and Bob. So I said we're all about agriculture education. But why is agriculture education important? Well, 100 years ago, 25% of our population was involved in agriculture. Many of our parents and grandparents were involved. Now, less than 1% of our population is involved in agriculture, which is still so important for feeding and clothing our population, right? So ag education is important for people to understand where their food comes from, to understand our food production systems and food supply. It can help kids understand nutrition, to understand where the chocolate milk does not actually come from a brown cow. Which actually, like 7% of adults actually said that they think chocolate milk comes from a brown cow. So we know agriculture is important. And so Alameda County Fair Foundation is fundraising to build a working exhibition educational farm in the heart of the Alameda County Fairgrounds. So the whole idea is to bring agriculture education to Alameda County and beyond. This will be a field trip destination where students can come to have hands-on experience, to engage them and educate them and really motivate them to care. Our vision for the farm is across these 3 pillars of agriculture education. The first is to connect them to the rich agriculture heritage of this area. Of course, right here in Livermore, we still see it. And we know it's important for them to understand kind of how the past connects to the future. Secondly, we want to not only teach, but actually ignite an appreciation for not only where food comes from, but also how it's prepared. So we'll even bring in some demonstration kitchen capabilities. And then finally, we want to inspire students. We want to demonstrate how agriculture technology and the latest innovations can produce our food and fiber even more sustainably and efficiently to make sure that our population remains fed and clothed. So we think that Alameda County Fairgrounds in Pleasanton, just over the way, is the perfect place for this educational facility because we're kind of right at the intersection of course, the history and legacy of agriculture that is so deep here in Alameda County and especially here in Livermore. But also we're really close to a lot of both suburban and urban populations who could benefit from understanding how crops grow and interacting with animals. And then finally, here in the Bay Area, we are right in the middle of so much technology, including agriculture technology, that we can bring and teach to these students. One great example is Monarch Tractor, right? I'm sure many of you have heard of it. They're an ag tech company that's right down the road in Livermore. So that's the why ag education is important. But this is the fun part. This is the what we actually have planned for the farm. So the image on the left is an aerial photo of Alameda County Fairgrounds. You probably recognize the racetrack. The red area in the middle is Ag Venture Park. So if you ever come to the fair, you come to the pig races, you see the petting zoo, it's that big grassy area, that's Ag Venture Park. And we already have over 2 acres of land there set aside to build this educational farm. On the right, you see what's called a plan section. So that's our kind of a first glimpse into what the farm will look like. You can see inside the buildings. This was actually created by Dahlin Architecture Group. We're lucky enough to have Doug Dahlin himself on our board. So they've been involved early on with some of these sketches and diagrams. But I think the best way to see what the farm is going to look like is this rendering video with music. That kind of flies you through the farm. You can see there'll be a barn with livestock and an animal science center, a big corral here. We probably won't have that many horses, but wishful thinking. This is the entrance as you come in from the red gate at the fairgrounds. You can see a growing lab on the left with growing tables where kids can literally get their hands dirty. Here is a picnic pavilion where classes can meet and follow up on lessons. The central pavilion we're flying over has an outdoor kitchen, gathering area, probably like a little nicer space we can use for other events as well. It's educational, so we do have classrooms. This includes a demonstration kitchen in the classroom. As I said, it's important to understand also how to prepare this nutritious food. You can see we have crops and pollinator gardens as well. And those beautiful roof structures are solar panels. They're actually bifacial solar panels that can absorb energy from both sides. So I've seen that video about 100 times. I never get sick of it. It's pretty exciting. So I'll just quickly review so one of the exciting things about this farm we have planned is that in addition to crops, including local historical crops so that kids understand, we'll have vineyards and hops because that's what grew in this area. In fact, I've been on field trips with 3rd graders where they say, this is where hops grew all over Pleasanton. And I'm like, kids have no idea what hops even look like. So this is part of, oops, what happened here? This is part of the idea, is to actually give the kids that hands-on experience with their local, with local heritage and local agriculture. The other exciting thing is that we'll have livestock, which is pretty rare. I mean, school gardens are wonderful, but it's really difficult for their educational facilities to maintain livestock and to have a milking parlor, but we have that planned. Oh, did I press the wrong button? Sorry. Okay, yes. Because we have this high-tech facility, we have sort of the latitude for a lot more engaging programming than basics, although we can also cover the basics. We can cover things like composting, renewable energy. As I mentioned, we have these solar panels. Those solar panels are actually also going to capture rainwater and store it. So we can also talk about responsible and efficient water conservation. And as I mentioned, there's all in this state-of-the-art farm campus in the middle of the fairgrounds. The impact of this is significant. So we have, some of you may have already heard this presentation a couple years ago, and hopefully we've introduced some new details to you. One of the things we've also been working on is we have a completed operating plan for this farm. So we can actually estimate how many students we anticipate to have. As a matter of fact, the farm at full capacity, when it's all built, can hold up to 8 classes, like, 30 kid classes at one time. We can run a field trip before lunch and a field trip after lunch. That means we can reach 500 students a day. And that brings it up to about 67,000 students every school year. But of course, this is going to be part of the fairgrounds. So we also have the well over 500,000 visitors every year that come through the gates of the fairgrounds. So kids who come to the fair, kids who come to Good Guys car shows with their families, or they come to the Scottish games. This will be a resource for them and their families year round. In fact, even after school hours, when we're no longer running school tours, it'll be open for families to come and visit. In addition, I think there's an important point here, which is that by being an ag education facility here in Alameda County, it's also a way for local ag tech companies, cattle ranchers, master gardeners to have a forum to actually reach the public and help educate the public about what they're about and what's important. Okay, thanks. So in order to get this built, we have a phased approach plan to both fundraising and building the farm. I'm guessing you're kind of wondering what kind of cost we're talking about. So the estimated cost of this is around $8 to $10 million. We have planned 4 phases of fundraising and build. So each phase is around $1.5 to $2.5 million. And these are early estimates, although we are getting more detailed plans in place now. So we'll have a more accurate estimate. So the first phase is the barn and paddock. It's actually a remodel of an existing equestrian stable. Once phase 1 is done, we can actually start having field trips come to visit even before the rest of the farm is done. This is one of the exciting things, is that we can get started pretty soon, as soon as that fundraising is in place. Phase 2 is that central gathering pavilion and all the plants, because we want to get the orchards and vineyards established. Phase 3, we're adding classrooms and a lab. The classrooms include bathrooms because we'll need them as we have more students visiting. And then phase 4 is the greenhouse with, vertical gardening and indoor gardening. And then redoing the existing Country Plaza picnic area we have. So as I mentioned, phase 1 fundraising is where we are right now. So we now have opportunities to be among the first dedications at the farm, meaning basically you could put your name on one of the animal pens. You could put your name on the barn, on that corral there. So if any of you are interested in this, or know anyone or any local businesses who might be, this is really the point that we are at right now, is fundraising as part of this capital campaign to build the farm. One of the things I do want to note is that once we have funded the build of the farm, the Fair Association has committed to operating it. So this is a pretty big deal, because operating an educational program like this is significant, and it is part of the fair's mission to bring agriculture education to the public. So the foundation is really about getting the capital funds in place to build the facility. So what our ask of this group here is if you are moved and interested in this, first of all, Paul and I'd be happy to answer questions. But what we would ask of you is connect us with others who might be interested in hearing about this, who might be able to help us. Ultimately, in-kind donations are going to be important to us. We're looking for companies who want to bring in their robotic milking parlor so that we can have that kind of demonstration, and just helping to get the word out to others. If you would be interested in funding a portion of the project, I do have our capital campaign information and packets with more information about the naming rights opportunities. But there is also an opportunity for anyone that's, I think, a bit more in reach to be a part of what we do at the Alameda County Fair Foundation. And that's our Heritage Membership Program. It's an annual membership of $250, $500, or $1,000 a year. At the $250 level, you get this great Yeti tumbler. We have them in red or blue. So the reason I wanted to invite this group here is because the Heritage Membership really is about supporting the kind of the mission and the vision of the foundation in general, and bringing agriculture education to the public in Alameda County. So that is all I have from the presentation, but happy to take any questions if that's okay.
Give her a big hand. So can I start off with one question, Valerie? I'm back here. Yeah. So you've probably heard of a pizza farm. You know what a pizza farm is? That's where they grow everything to make a pizza. Considering it's a fairgrounds, would you consider a funnel cake farm? That was my only joke, unless Roberts has got a better one.
A quick question. Are you considering taking the animal waste or the human waste and composting as part of the garden demonstration?
That's a great question, actually. So we do have plans for a composting lab, probably for the excess plant matter. And actually, we've talked to a tech company, or a company that is familiar with a tech company that does actually take the manure and capture the gases and turn it into energy. So that is exactly the kind of agriculture technology that we actually want to show kids, because that's cool. I mean, that's cool that you could take something kind of gross and turn it into something powerful. And that's why that our focus is on ag tech, because that's kind of where it's at.
I have a question. You were saying throughout the year, and I have to apologize because I was wandering around serving wine, so I might have missed this. During the school year, classes will be invited in to there to use that. So are you putting out curriculum for them to use to tie into what you're doing there?
Absolutely. So our plan is to offer curriculum that's actually tied into California state standards, because we know the teachers are super busy. And so we certainly want this field trip for them to be something that actually ultimately takes some work off of their shoulders and saves them some time, and actually gets those lessons out. So yes, the plan is to develop some curriculum that is tied in with the state curriculum.
This is a great idea. And thank you. And Paul, thanks. And the Fair Board, thank you for thinking about doing this, because it's just a wonderful opportunity.
Do you have a sense yet of timing of the first phase?
That is always the $1 million question.
Literally.
Quite literally, maybe that's a $10 million question. So we're at the point right now where we have our operating plan and kind of details in place. We're in contract with Dahlin Group. They are working on the engineering and architecture development for not only the entire base site plan, but also for the first phase, the detail plan for the first phase, like the barn and the paddock area in that first phase. So once that's complete, we will have the ability to get those more exact cost estimates and field bids from contractors. And so then once that's complete, the only thing standing in our way is having the funding in place. We are close to halfway there on phase one. We have some funding that's been promised from the Alameda County Fair. And we've received some funding from some of the Alameda County districts yeah, we've received some grants from some of the Alameda County supervisors and still waiting on a couple others, although we've had some verbal agreement. So that's where we are.
I have a question. It's a great project. And I just wanted to know, what age groups are you considering for the classes, and where does it start? Does it go all the way up to high school or what?
So we want to make this accessible and available to everyone. Realistically, field trips are a lot easier to accomplish in elementary school, and there is a fair bit of curriculum that we can tie to what we're doing. But one of the things I didn't talk a lot about is the career pathing opportunity we have here by sharing what agriculture is like now and what ag tech and what opportunities and innovations are on ag tech now. We expect to kind of introduce to students, like this is a career you can pursue, and actually kind of a great career to pursue. So we also imagine there will be some maybe career fairs, or, so that might be the kind of thing we do at the high school level.
Question on Zoom. Oh, Hank, want to unmute yourself and ask a question?
Yes. In the first part of your presentation, you had an aerial view, a map of the entire fairground area, and you designated the portion of that as being what was going to be the farm. Is there anything at the existing site to which you could already begin school presentations?
So the location of Ag Venture Park, so what is there right now is the grassy area. And as I mentioned, the equestrian stable that we're going to be remodeling is just kind of an old equestrian stable, but it's right there at Red Gate. In that right now, there's Country Plaza picnic area. So yes, we do have a gathering space for classes. It's also adjacent to the newly introduced tractor museum. I don't know if any of you have been to the fairground. I think it's been around for the past two fairs, 2021 and 2022. We have a kind of a history of the tractor. So there are some components there that would actually probably be used in future field trips. But I think our plan is, once we have the livestock barn and actually have our resident cows and pigs, I think that will be when we can start offering curriculum for field trips.
So,
did that answer your question?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether there's something you can do to sort of help jump the community interest in all this by having miniature tours and starting to get schools interested in the future.
I can absolutely take that to the fair as a suggestion. One thing we are planning is during the fair this year, I hope you will all come out to the Alameda County Fair this June and July. We will have a couple of demonstrations of agriculture technology come into the gardens. I'm not sure I can say what it is, but there'll be some pretty cool ag tech in the fair gardens near where you buy the nice wine in the wine garden. So there will be a few just like little hints of what's to come during the fair.
Thank you.
Or the last FFA chapter in the county, are you going to be able to pull them in? Because a lot of those programs require a certain amount of volunteer work. And I think that'd be a great way to involve the high schoolers with the younger kids too.
Absolutely. I think that's a great suggestion. In fact, we've talked so one of the things that we're focusing on with this farm is making sure that it reaches all students and not just the ones who have an FFA or a 4-H program to be a part of. But we have talked about, can we pull in FFA students? Can we pull in students who go to Cal Poly in their agriculture? We've actually spoken to Cal Poly. Can we bring in internships, students to actually help us with our program and also give them that experience? So yes, that's absolutely being considered.
Do you have any plans to teach or work with grape growers specifically?
We do have plans to have a vineyard as part. So we have orchards, vineyards, hop yards. Again, we, in addition to your local and your seasonal crops, we really want to make sure that we have some local historical crops. So absolutely, we would be really interested in talking to perhaps some local grape growers who would be interested in helping us build that program.
One other thing. Now, you said seasonal. So I think it would be really great for kids to understand once again what seasonal means. So is that part of what you're going to be bringing to the table with this? So they truly understand when they're supposed to truly, for this area, enjoy the strawberries or the watermelon? Is that, yeah, so they understand truly what that is.
Yes, I think so. Yeah. I mean, I am not the agriculture expert, but we do have agriculture education experts working right now actually on some sample curriculum so that we can actually share that. But absolutely this is our opportunity to do that, right? One of the cool things I've heard about is like a planned curriculum is having the crops be such that, we plant this week and then we wait a couple weeks and we kind of have them at different stages of growth for those kids who they only visit once, right? And so they only see it in that very moment. So this way we can show them, well, this is what it looks like when it's a young plant and this is what it looks like when it's ready to harvest, as much as we can manage that given, the weather and
Oh, hello, sorry. I'm wondering if you have a component in there somewhere that could tie into the sort of small and medium-sized local community gardens. I'm with LARPD and we have a community garden and we're looking to establish a second one in town. And I know a lot of those people would, I think, be interested in what you're talking about.
we are really actually hoping that the community will be willing to step up and volunteer and help us out. Once the farm is built, we expect to have volunteer docents and, I had mentioned master gardeners, but whichever org actually knows what they're doing to help us keep those gardens maintained. Absolutely. One distinction between what we're doing and what you might have as a community garden that grows a lot of like crops to eat is that that's not the purpose here because of the educational component. We'll probably won't have the volume to actually necessarily feed anyone. Although if there isn't access, we've talked about making sure that it's available for the community.
I thank you so much, Valerie.
Glenn, there's one more question. Bill Nebo has a question.
Oh, Bill Nebo, go ahead, Bill, unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, my question is this project aimed at kind of very large scale gardening, or is it really aimed at agribusiness that has large scale mechanization?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes. So both really. So again, we want, the younger kids, they're going to plant a radish seed in a paper cup and bring it home. Right. But again, we have this concept of bringing in like current agriculture technology in order to show like, this is how farmers actually do it. Right. This is how cows are actually milked. It's not actually a stool in a bucket anymore. Like, or maybe it is, but in this case, like we're talking about like the robotic mechanized milking contraptions because we want to show this is how it's really done. And so, to the extent that we can do that on a 2-acre farm, we intend to have some demonstrations of some of these technologies, but because of the size, we're going to have to toe that line.
I also, Valerie, also, I think, I would love to see people or kids, whatever, understand the importance of California agriculture. You all know what the #1 industry in the state of California is? It's agriculture. Not technology, it's not tourism. What do we grow? About 95% of all wine grapes. We grow half of all vegetables and fruit, something like that, right? For the nation, for the entire nation, right? So I think that something is also a lesson that people should understand about California.
Absolutely. And one of the things I wanted to, and I'm not sure I touched on is, I think I mentioned we'll have pollinator gardens. So the sort of end-to-end ecosystem of agriculture and why pollinators are important. That's part of the vision too, is to do what we can to kind of give the big picture about what's important.
It's interesting to me about the economics of that, California farmers, and I don't know the exact stats, but over the last 20 years have doubled or use less water, more food. Those are also important things to for people to understand, and also get rid of this notion that growing almonds takes a lot of water. It's actually cattle that takes. No, I'm just kidding. Paul knows it's mostly cattle. It takes most of the water.
Yeah. Wow.
But just understanding the interrelation between water and agriculture, I think, is important.
I like the idea that you're teaching them about where their food comes from, but more importantly, how we feed the animals that feed us. And when they see these beautiful open spaces and can't understand why there's houses not there, that's where we feed our animals that feed you, and as well as our produce that feeds you.
So I just wanted to make one comment. One of the reasons that I'm so interested and involved in this project is I see it as an opportunity to inspiring recruit kids to get involved in agriculture, to be farmers, to work for farms, to work in processing for food products, to work in distributing food products, all the things that we need workers for in the future. In the past, the people who worked on the farms have come from the farm. As the number of farmers is diminished, that population can't supply the workforce. So it's really important that we recruit kids be involved in agriculture.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank Paul. Thank Valerie. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I don't know if you went through these already. Okay, remember what we have next week, and a couple reminders. We are back at the community center next week. And on June the 7th, remember where we are? Where are we going? And will there be Zoom? No. Right, Sheila? No Zoom, but plenty of good barbecue. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for coming. Thanks for joining the best damn 90 minutes of your week.